Hello, STEM Nation. Jeff here, and welcome to episode number 46 of STEM on Fire, where we interview practicing professionals in the area of science, technology, engineering, and math to help guide students interested in STEM careers. If you like what you hear, please share it with a friend. Now let's get fired up today with our guest, Mike, and I hope this chat will help ignite your passion towards a STEM career. Mike Roberts earned a Bachelor of Science degree in mechanical engineering from the University of Wisconsin-Madison and has over 30 years of experience in new product development and is currently the president of Brooks Stevens. Welcome to the show, Mike. Fill in any gaps and share a bit of your personal life.
Jeff, thanks for having me on. I'm a fan of STEM on Fire, and I've been looking forward to this day. So thanks for having me on. I guess I'll start out with just some personal stuff because I know we'll get more in depth on the business side of things. So I did attend University of Wisconsin-Madison. It's where I met my wife of nearly 30 years now. A few more months, it'll be 30 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We were both in engineering school. I was on the mechanical side. She's a civil environmental engineer. I like to say, and kind of joke a little bit, that we're both PEs. She's a licensed professional engineer, and I consider myself a pretend engineer. And maybe we'll get into that a little bit more later. But we did meet in engineering school.
Awesome, Mike. Thanks for that great overview. And we're going to dig right in here. So you do have a mechanical engineering degree, but you got more of an entrepreneurial spirit, just straight out of college. Could you go through kind of what your career path has looked like?
Yeah, it is somewhat entrepreneurial. At least there's attributes of entrepreneurialism in my career path and life in general. I got exposed to the professional world through my father. He was a sales engineer, and took me to the office as early as age 5 or 6 on weekends, and I get to play around with things and just ask a lot of what is this, what is that, how does that work type of questions, and it just created this I think this natural instinct for curiosity in me. So I was one of those kids that wanted to follow in my father's footsteps. His career path was a sales engineer, and as I was starting to vet out colleges and eventually ended up at Madison, there was no degree plan for sales engineer. So with some counsel from both my dad as well as my boss at the time, I decided that I really wanted to be on the business side of things, but have the credibility on the street to talk the talk and walk the walk. So I went to engineering school for that background, but never really intended on putting engineering into practice. It was more of a sales engineer type of a role that I got started with out of school.
So, Mike, why didn't you go to business school, which would be maybe the traditional route of I want to go into sales? Why engineering and why not business?
That's a fair route, and many successful salespeople have gone that route. Again, with the specific company that I was looking to join, it was a fluid power distributor that designed custom fluid power systems, and in that specific business, in that role, you really needed a technical background of the product or the products at a systems engineering level. The sales skills is something that I was able to pick up outside of college and throughout the early years of my career. But it would have been really, really difficult to come into that specific company and that specific role without the technical background, the science behind the sales engineering role. So that ended up being my career path. I had good counsel from people to set me on that path.
Okay, Mike. And so, what is your specific area of expertise?
So I guess it would come down to, in general, design automation has been the general theme of my career path over the last 30 years. And the first half of the career was more about applying different types of design automation tools to the process of product design and development. So computer-aided design, computer-aided manufacturing, engineering, tools like that, CAD, CAM, CAE. And then about the halfway point, I transitioned from helping companies with tools to automate their design and automation process to representing companies that provided product design and development services to augment what our customers are trying to accomplish internally, which is ultimately what's led to Brooks Stevens.
So how many different careers have you kind of had over your 30-year career lifespan here?
Oh gosh, I'm not sure if I'm proud to say it's several. I've made several moves, and I think that's part of the entrepreneurialism in me. And then there's just been some unexpected events in my career path, companies that were acquired, major tragic events in our country's history, like 9/11, that threw a number of companies into tailspins, and one in particular that I was working with at the time was included, and was caught up in mass layoffs. So it's been easily 8 to 10 different companies in my career path.
Yeah, so STEM Nation, when you graduate college and you start your career and you start out and you go, wow, this is awesome, I'm going to be here for life, I would say don't count on it. You're going to have multiple careers in your overall career. Could be a couple, could be 3, could be 10, could be 15. So just be aware of that and be flexible, because things are going to change and you have to roll with the changes.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I'd put maybe a slight spin on that, because I've had this experience with 2 or 3 companies, Brooks Stevens included in this. Is I've gone into career moves, new careers, with the intention, and that's maybe the key word, intention, that this is my final career move. At the same time, I don't want to just pin myself down and try to predict my future. That isn't really possible. But just being receptive and sensitive to changes in industry and changes in the world, just to make sure you're always doing the right thing for yourself, your family, your clients in some cases. I've never gone into any job change with the intention of, hey, I'm going to give this a good 3 or 4 years of my life, and then I'll start looking for something else or something better.
So, Mike, as the president of Brooks Stevens, what do you do on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, I get a lot of people asking me that. Usually the people on my staff, but
yeah.
but in all seriousness, I don't, a day in the life, a week in life, a month in the life of being me, has a certain set of attributes and maybe even cadence to me. It does include working with our staff on a regular basis, working with relationships, and I guess relationships is kind of a key ingredient to everything I've done, whether it's been president of a company or in business development, is managing relationships and expectations, making sure that we've got the right people on the right job, connected to the right customers, making sure everybody's on the same page, managing expectations between clients and our staff so that our deliverables are meeting their requirements, specifications, expectations for usability, as well as technical specifications. I do a lot of relationship building outside of Brooks Stevens, meeting with potential clients, potential vendors, potential strategic partners, people that know me that I'm a kind of a coffee junkie, so it's not unusual for me to have 2, 3, 4 business meetings before normal business hours over a cup of coffee, again, for that relationship building process.
Yeah, and STEM Nation, it's not too early to start building those relationships. Start connecting with folks that you meet on LinkedIn. If you want to chat with Mike, I'm sure that he'd be happy to connect with you on LinkedIn. So reach out to Mike, and he's got 30 years of experience that I'm sure he's happy to help you out. And Mike, what is a specific thing that really has you fired up today?
Yeah, well, on the business side, our business is new product development and initiatives, and whether it's an individual inventor or a large, global corporation, I'm really excited about innovation, new product innovation and development. And the one general area that just really has me fired up the last few years and looking into the future is the impact of technology in products. We're well into the Internet of Things, or IoT, being very mainstream in our language, in our business life. More and more products every day are becoming connected products, smart sensing products, and it's going to continue on. You can find articles all the time about how many millions and billions of connected devices there will be on the planet in the next several years. So that's exciting for me when I look back at product development 10 plus years ago. Having electronics built into everyday products, not to mention smart and connected products. That was almost science fiction as little as 10 years ago. Now it's very much mainstream, and it's exciting. And with new and emerging technologies like artificial intelligence also coming into play, it just steps up the whole IoT game and strategy to a whole new level.
Yeah, with where technology is headed, the whole Internet of Things, the connected devices, the artificial intelligence, the machine learning, the future is very bright for STEMers out there. Graduating college, mid-career, even later in their careers, you can pick this stuff up by going to YouTube, to go into all these online free trainings, to pick up this knowledge and these skills to revamp your career. And Mike, could you take us to an incredible aha moment you've had at work or your personal life and tell us the story and how you turned that aha moment into success?
Yeah, well, I've got a few. So I picked one. I guess it was the first one that came to mind. I think I was about 20, give or take a year. So I was working at a company during my summer breaks and weekends and vacation times, holidays, to pay for college and college life. And I had a unique opportunity to be exposed to, at the time, was some emerging electrical equipment, programmable logic controllers, PLCs. That's everyday stuff today, but 30 years ago, that was kind of some new to the world technology. And I'm a 20-something, hanging around a lot of very, very seasoned sales engineers in fluid power, and they were just deathly frightened of anything electronic or electrical. And being young, maybe entrepreneurial, there really wasn't a fear factor of, well, let me give this a try. Let me see if I can learn how to program these things and begin to automate machinery. So fast forwarding through a short period of time, I was able to learn on my own, pick up these particular skills, and all of a sudden become part of the sales team of this company. I was the category expert or product expert on automation tools through PLCs, and the salespeople were still responsible for the hydraulics and pneumatics automation. So here I am, young kid amongst well-seasoned veterans out there, working together, collaborating together, and actually being a valued part of the team.
Mike, what I'll say there is what you did is you added value. And STEM Nation, that's what you need to think about when you're launching into careers, is adding value every day and always trying to grow every day. And in order to do that, Mike, you had to get through college. So let's go back about 30 years heading off to college. What are some things you wish you knew back then that you think would help STEMers launch into college successfully? Yeah.
Well, again, a long list of items. I'll just pick out one or two things that stood out if I could do it all over again. One thing. So I was pretty successful if you measure success by metrics like GPAs and class rank in high school. High school came pretty easy to me. I blew through all of the math courses at the time. In my senior year, I actually had to go to University of Wisconsin-Madison to take a calculus class because I just ran out of classes to take in high school. And I was, one of those people that just didn't have to study super hard, come in, ace a test, and get good grades. I was, gifted in that particular area. I made the wrong assumption that college would just be a natural extension and progression of high school. My freshman year of college, I treated like I was in the 13th grade. And it was just a whole new game. I really underestimated the amount of and time and effort that would go into it, and how reliant I should have been on really coming up with a much more disciplined process for learning, because it wasn't coming naturally. I wasn't just budgeting and scheduling specific amounts of time and really understanding how much time it would take to acquire the knowledge that I needed to be successful. So that would be perhaps my one piece of advice for high school juniors and seniors as they're thinking about transitioning to college, is to understand what the culture and the environment is like from an academic perspective, and don't just assume it's just a continuation, a natural progression of high school.
Yeah, and Mike, what I'm going to add to that is you were one of the few that didn't have to, or maybe a fair number of folks that don't really have to study in high school, and they get to college, and it is just a complete change. And a lot of the folks that don't make it through these STEM curriculums are the ones who didn't have to study in high school because they never developed the grit, the grind to get through these. The students that actually have to work hard in high school and then go into college for these STEM careers, those are the ones that are typically successful because they know how to study. So STEMers, make sure you're developing those study skills in high school. If you don't have to study, go and try some more difficult things to develop that, or you may not be successful in college. And Mike, you're president of a company. I'm sure you hire people. What are some things that you look for in applicants, the skills and attributes they need to be successful?
Yeah, great question. And when we're constantly screening people, recruiting people, we never know. In our business, we could be one project away from needing to hire one or two additional people. It's just the dynamics of a small business. And when we bring candidates in, we have them interview with multiple people. Some people are evaluating purely for the technical skills, and in our business, you certainly need technical skills: mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, industrial designers, and the creativity side of things. For me personally, though, as president, I'm more interested in how people solve problems. What is their process? Can they take me through a scenario where they were really kind of stuck in the mud, and how did they get themselves out of it? I'm also looking for communication skills. I think that's maybe it's a little bit cliche, but it's very true. I see it far too often that just good old-fashioned face-to-face, eyeball-to-eyeball communication skills is a bit of a lost art. Not with everybody, but more than I'd like to see. So that's, you can have all the technical skills in the world and the GPA to back up how bright you are, but if you can't articulate a message that you can persuade somebody to see something your way, you're not going to reach the peak performance.
All right, thanks for that, Mike. And we're going to take a quick pause to thank our sponsor, Audible, who's offering a free audiobook. You could head over to STEM on Fire book to get a free audiobook of your choosing. If you decide to cancel within 30 days, there's no cost, and you keep the audiobook. And we're heading to the lightning round. Mike, are you ready?
All right, strike when ready.
What is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
It would be to put the needs of others first. I live by that mission statement of it allows me to keep my motives pure. If I put the needs of others first, they get taken care of. I get taken care of as a byproduct of just doing the right thing for the people in my sphere of influence.
And what's a personal habit that contributes to your success?
I learned this from my dad very, very early on, and that's get up and get to work early. The best time of the day. I know there's a few night owls out there that people are wired that way, but in general, the best part of my day is early. It's not unusual for me to be on the grid at 4 a.m, responding to some emails, doing some LinkedIn research. When the brain and the body are just at its freshest.
And what's a favorite internet resource or phone app?
Those that know me as a LinkedIn junkie. I am on that program throughout the day. It's how I stay connected with people, with special interest groups. It's an opportunity for me to share information that I find compelling with others in my network. It just helps keep a pulse on my entire network.
And Mike, one book you would recommend?
I would say, and you can get this on Audible, Simon Sinek's Start With Why is got to be a must read for just everybody, but maybe in particular the STEM nation out there. You can listen to short excerpts on it on YouTube, but I'd recommend reading the entire book. It really gets to the heart of being a catalyst for curiosity, and it's also that catalyst for continued learning and continued education. If you just go straight to the what or how is something done, you'll shortchange yourself. But if you really dig in deep to why am I picking this career path? Why is this menu item better for me than another? Why am I picking this particular school or trade? And it'll really uncover the byproducts or the results of the why questions in your life. So to start there and then work backwards into the what's and the hows, you're more likely to hit your targets and meet your objectives.
All right, Mike, and you've provided tons of value to this point, but we're going to ask for just one more. If you could share a parting piece of guidance for STEM Nation, and then we will say goodbye.
Yeah, thank you. We've touched on it a little bit, and that's the continuous learning aspect. I think now this generation more than ever really needs for that to be a life mission of continuous education. There's all types of means and tools out there to continually learn. There's online videos, there's books, and it's important more than ever. You might graduate from a university or a technical college, but one school you probably are never going to graduate from is the School of Hard Knocks. And if you take some risks and you get a little bit dirty and even bruised up a little bit, it's really going to aid in your learning by experiencing life at its fullest. Before I dialed into the podcast here, I did a quick read of my daily feed from Harvard Business School and the lead or Harvard Business Review, and the lead story was titled "Automation Will Make Lifelong Learning a Necessary Part of Work." And I skimmed through the article, and it just emphasized this point of how important it is with these emerging technologies like AI and IoT that in order just to keep up and keep ahead, people need to continually learn, continually grow, continually add to their experiences.
Yeah, and I'll say, Mike, that the education starts upon graduation. And with that, Mike, we will say goodbye.
Thanks so much, Jeff.
You're welcome. I hope you enjoyed our chat today with Mike. You can head over to STEMonfire.com, subscribe to the email list to keep up with the latest happenings, and be sure to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast player. Tune in next week where we talk with Tim, who is founder and CEO of Integrated Roadways. Until next time, I hope this chat has helped ignite your passion